All right, we're going to move to another question, and the topic is leadership in this campaign. Both of you pledged to take the high road in this campaign, yet it has turned very nasty. Senator Obama, your campaign has used words like erratic, out of touch, lie, angry, losing his bearings to McCain. Senator McCain, your commercials have included words like disrespectful, dangerous, dishonorable. He lied. Your running mate said he palled around with terrorists. Are each of you tonight willing to sit at this table and say to each other's face what your campaigns and the people in your campaigns have said about each other? And Senator McCain, you're first.
Well, this has been a tough campaign. It's been a very tough campaign. And I know from my experience in many campaigns that if Senator Obama had responded to my urgent request to sit down and do town hall meetings and come before the American people, we could have done at least 10 of them by now. When Senator Obama was first asked, he said, any place, any time. The way Barry Goldwater and Jack Kennedy agreed to do before the intervention of the tragedy at Dallas. So I think the tone of this campaign could have been very different. And the fact is, it's gotten pretty tough. And I regret some of the negative aspects of both campaigns. But the fact is that it has taken many turns which I think are unacceptable. One of them happened just the other day when a man I admire and respect, I've written about him, Congressman John Lewis, an American hero, made allegations that Sarah Palin and I were somehow associated with the worst chapter in American history. Segregation, deaths of children in church bombings, George Wallace. That to me was so hurtful. And Senator Obama, you didn't repudiate those remarks. Every time there's been an out-of-bounds remark made by a Republican, no matter where they are, I have repudiated them. I hope that Senator Obama will repudiate those remarks that were made by Congressman John Lewis. Very unfair and totally inappropriate. So I want to tell you, we will run a truthful campaign. This is a tough campaign. And it's a matter of fact that Senator Obama has spent more money on negative ads than any political campaign in history, and I can prove it. And Senator Obama, when he said, and he signed a piece of paper that said he would take public financing for his campaign if I did, that was back when he was a long-shot candidate, you didn't keep your word. And when he looked into the camera in debate with Senator Clinton and said, I will sit down and negotiate with John McCain about public financing before I make a decision, you didn't tell the American people the truth because you didn't. And that's an unfortunate part. Now we have the highest spending by Senator Obama's campaign than any time since Watergate.
All right.
Well, look, I think that we expect presidential campaigns to be tough. I think that if you look at the record and the impressions of the American people, Bob, your network just did a poll showing that 2/3 of the American people think that Senator McCain's running a negative campaign versus 1/3 of mine. And 100%, John, of your ads, 100% of them have been negative.
It's not true.
It absolutely is true. And now, I think the American people are less interested in our hurt feelings during the course of the campaign than addressing the issues that matter to them so deeply. And there is nothing wrong with us having a vigorous debate like we're having tonight about health care, about energy policy, about tax policy. That's the stuff that campaigns should be made of. The notion, though, that because we're not doing town hall meetings, that justifies some of the ads that have been going up, not just from your own campaign directly, John, but 527s and other organizations that make some pretty tough accusations. Well, I don't mind being attacked for the next 3 weeks. What the American people can't afford, though, is 4 more years of failed economic policies. And what they deserve over the next 4 weeks is that we talk about what's most pressing to them, the economic crisis. Senator McCain's own campaign said publicly last week that if we keep on talking about the economic crisis, we lose. So we need to change the subject. And I would love to see the next 3 weeks devoted to talking about the economy, devoted to talking about healthcare, devoted to talking about energy, and figuring out how the American people can send their kids to college. That is something that I would welcome. But it requires, I think, a recognition that politics as usual, as has been practiced over the last several years, is not solving the big problems here in America.
Well, if you'll turn on the television, as I watched the Arizona Cardinals defeat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
Congratulations.
Every other ad was an attack ad on my health care plan. And any objective observer has said it's not true. You're running ads right now that say that I oppose federal funding for stem cell research. I don't. You're running ads that misportray completely my position on immigration. So the fact is that Senator Obama is spending unprecedented in the history of American politics, going back to the beginning, amounts of money in negative attack ads on me. And of course I've been talking about the economy. Of course I've talked to people like Joe the plumber and tell him that I'm not going to spread his wealth around. I'm going to let him keep his wealth. And of course we're talking about a positive plan of action to restore this economy and restore jobs in America. That's what my campaign is all about, and that's what it'll continue to be all about. But again, I did not hear a repudiation of Congressman Lewis.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about Congressman Lewis, who is an American hero, he, unprompted by my campaign, without my campaign's awareness, made a statement that he was troubled with what he was hearing at some of the rallies that your running mate was holding, in which all the public reports indicated were shouting, when my name came up, things like terrorist and kill him, and that your running mate didn't mention, didn't stop, didn't say, hold on a second, that's kind of out of line. And I think Congressman Lewis's point was that we have to be careful about how we deal with our supporters. Now,
you've got to read what he said. You've got to read what he said.
Let me complete my response. I do think that he inappropriately drew a comparison between what was happening there and what had happened during the civil rights movement. And we immediately put out a statement saying that we don't think that comparison is appropriate. And in fact, afterwards, Congressman Lewis put out a similar statement saying that he had probably gone over the line. The important point here is, though, the American people have become so cynical about our politics because all they see is a tit for tat and back and forth. And what they want is the ability to just focus on some really big challenges that we face right now. And that's what I have been trying to focus on this entire campaign. We can have serious differences about our health care policy, for example, John, because we do have a difference on health care policy.
We do, and I hope we talk about it.
Talking about it this evening. All right.
Sure.
But when people suggest that I pal around with terrorists, then we're not talking about issues. What we're talking about are...
Does he
let me just say, let me just say categorically, I'm proud of the people that come to our rallies. Whenever you get a large rally of 10, 15, 20,000 people, you're going to have some fringe peoples. You know that, and we've always said that that's not appropriate. But to somehow say that group of young women who said military wives from McCain are somehow saying anything derogatory about you, or anything, and those veterans that wear those hats that say World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Iraq. That I'm not going to stand for people saying that the people that come to my rallies are anything but the most dedicated, patriotic men and women that are in this nation, and they're great citizens. And I'm not going to stand for somebody saying that because someone yelled something at a rally. There's a lot of things that have been yelled at your rally, Senator Obama, that I'm not happy about either. In fact, some T-shirts that are very unacceptable. So the point is that I have repudiated every time someone's been out of line, whether they've been part of my campaign or not. And I will continue to do that. But the fact is that we need to absolutely not stand for the kind of things that have been going on. I haven't.